He looks at you, and something about the way he says hi doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel casual. It doesn't feel like he's just being polite. There's a spark in his eyes, a slight pause in his voice, a tension in the air that only hearts that are truly stirred can create. And maybe, just maybe, in that tiny, fleeting moment, he's revealing a truth that his lips haven't spoken yet. He's crazy about you. Because love, real love, often doesn't begin with a grand confession. It begins in the smallest gestures. It hides in the ordinary and whispers through the subtle. And if a man greets you like this, with that extra beat in his voice, that unmistakable gleam in his gaze, then don't brush it off. That one greeting might be holding back a storm of emotion he hasn't yet dared to unleash. When a man is genuinely crazy about you, his greeting will never be casual or routine. It may sound simple, on the surface, just a hi or a hello. But underneath those few syllables is an emotional charge that speaks volumes. His voice might tremble slightly, his tone might soften, or he may pause for a moment longer than necessary before speaking. These subtle nuances are the signs of a man whose heart beats faster at the mere sight of you. He may not even realize he's doing it, but his subconscious is fully aware. That greeting isn't just about acknowledging your presence, it's about managing the surge of emotions he feels when you're near. There's a tension in the way he speaks, a kind of vulnerability that slips through even if he's trying hard to hide it. He might stumble over his words, laugh nervously, or even try to act indifferent, but don't be fooled. His greeting has already betrayed him. It's in that awkward pause before he says anything, the way he searches your eyes for a moment before uttering the simplest of words. He's not just saying hello. He's bracing himself for the emotional impact you have on him. His body knows before his brain catches up. His heart races. His breathing shifts. And when he finally speaks, his voice carries the tremors of someone who feels deeply and is trying not to show it too much too soon. Some women miss this moment because they're looking for grand gestures, bouquets, compliments, love letters. But real love, especially in its early stages, often hides in moments that seem ordinary. A man who's truly into you puts his emotions into things most people overlook. His greeting becomes a litmus test of his inner world. It may be a simple word, but its delivery is rich with suppressed affection, excitement, and the fear of being too transparent. He's wrestling with the part of him that wants to tell you everything he feels, and the part that wants to protect his heart from exposure. You may hear the same word from many different people in a day, but when he says it, you feel something different. There's a pull, a spark, a momentary shift in the atmosphere, and that's because his greeting isn't mechanical, it's emotional. It's his soul stretching out toward yours, hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll feel it too. And once you start paying attention to how he says it, the rhythm, the tone, the look in his eyes, you begin to understand that this greeting is not just a word, it's an invitation. It's a sign. It's the emotional imprint of a man who may not be ready to confess his feelings out loud, but who can't help but speak them with every hello he gives you. Words can be rehearsed, crafted, and disguised, but the body rarely lies. When a man is truly crazy about you, it's not just in what he says. It's in how he says it, and more importantly, in what he does without saying a word. Nonverbal cues become the loudest expression of his interest. Even when he's trying to play it cool, his eyes often give him away before his mouth does. You'll catch him looking at you longer than he should, not because he wants to be rude, but because his mind is captivated and his heart isn't letting him look away. That gaze carries a depth of emotion, a certain softness or intensity that he can't mask. It's not the kind of glance he gives to everyone else. It lingers, studies, and speaks without uttering a syllable. His posture shifts the moment you enter the room. He might straighten up, lean in slightly, or position himself to be more open toward you. These micro movements might go unnoticed to the untrained eye, but they reveal his desire to connect, to be noticed, to be. When a man is emotionally invested, his body becomes a mirror of his inner world. He fidgets, adjusts his clothes, runs his fingers through his hair, not because he's uncomfortable, but because your presence makes him hyper aware of how he's appearing in front of you. His body is responding to the emotional stimulation, and it shows in the nervous energy that surfaces when he greets you. Then there's the smile. A man who's crazy about you won't offer just any smile. It's not polite or forced, it's involuntary, real, and often appears before he even starts speaking. It may be a small upward twitch of the lips or a full uncontrollable grin, but it's there and it's genuine. That smile carries more than friendliness. It carries admiration, affection, and a surge of joy that he can't suppress. You might also notice the way he uses his hands. Some men gesture more when they're nervous or excited, especially around someone they're drawn to. He might unconsciously point his hands or feet toward you, subtly indicating that his focus, his interests, and his emotions are centered on you. Even when the conversation is with others, even his breathing might change. When he's near you, it can become shallow or irregular. It's the physiological reaction of someone experiencing attraction, adrenaline, and a bit of anxiety, all bundled together. The simple act of saying hello in his case is amplified by the storm of signals his body sends out. You might hear the words hi or how are you, but what you should be paying attention to is the way his eyes light up, the way his shoulders relax or tense, the way his entire being shifts in your presence. His nonverbal language becomes a full confession of what he hasn't said yet out loud, and often it's more honest, more raw, and more powerful than anything words could ever convey. When a man is genuinely crazy about you, one of the most telling signs lies in how he treats you compared to everyone else. His greeting may not seem extraordinary at first, but if you look closer, you'll notice it's different, intentionally or unintentionally, from how he greets others. He may be outgoing and friendly with people in general, but when it comes to you, something changes. His tone softens or perhaps becomes more energetic. His demeanor either becomes more careful or more alive, depending on his personality. What matters is the distinction. You stand out in his world, and without saying it directly, his greeting reveals that you occupy a place in his mind and heart that no one else does. This distinction often reveals itself in subtle differences, like how long he holds your gaze, how he says your name, or the slight pause he takes before speaking to you, as if he's gathering himself. He may greet 10 people in a day, but there's a special energy reserved for you. It's as if he's rehearsed his hello 100 times in his head, even though it only lasts a second or two in reality. You'll notice that he either becomes more composed or slightly more nervous when he sees you. That's because your presence means something to him. And even if he's not ready to show it outright, his actions have already betrayed his heart. In some cases, he may even go quiet around you when he's usually outgoing, or overly talkative when he's normally reserved. Either way, the change in his behavior is noticeable. His internal world is being stirred, and that emotional shift reflects in his greeting. It's not the same script he uses with everyone else. It's rewritten every time he sees you. This unique way he addresses you isn't random. It's driven by something deep within him, something he may not even fully understand, but it's there. It's in the effort he puts into acknowledging you, in the little smile that forms when you approach, or in the way his tone becomes warmer or more deliberate when your name is the first word out of his mouth. You might also notice that he becomes more thoughtful in those moments. He might remember something you said last week and reference it in his greeting, or compliment something about you as a way to start the conversation. That kind of attention is rare and it's personal. It shows that he doesn't just see you, he observes you. He listens, he thinks, and he cares. This level of attentiveness doesn't extend to everyone else. It's reserved for you. And whether he's conscious of it or not, his selective affection shows up in the small moments, particularly in how he says hello. That greeting becomes a doorway into his deeper emotions, a clue that he may be falling harder than even he intended. When a man is crazy about you but not ready to admit it, his greeting becomes something far more significant than a polite custom. It turns into a silent confession. That simple hello becomes the safest place he can let his guard down, even if just for a second. He may not be able to say, "I'm thinking about you all the time," or "You make my heart race," but his greeting speaks in a language all its own. It's his way of expressing what he feels without fully exposing his vulnerability. In that brief moment of interaction, his soul finds a way to speak even while his mouth sticks to small talk. And often, it's in that small talk where the deepest truth lies hidden. The beauty of a greeting from someone who's emotionally spurred is that it carries layers. There's the surface level, the words, the timing, the tone, and then there's the deeper level, the emotional frequency behind it. You might feel it before you even realize why. It could be the way he stops, whatever he's doing when you arrive, the way he looks a little stunned by your presence as if his mind just went blank. He might rush to greet you faster than expected or hesitate for a split second because he's overthinking how to say it just right. Either way, that hesitation, that intensity, or even that playful sarcasm is a window into something unspoken. His greeting becomes the place where his fear and desire meet, where he flirts with the idea of letting you in, but still pulls back just enough to keep his feelings protected. It's in these moments that his true emotions leak through. He may try to cover it up with a joke or casual tone, but the warmth in his voice or the way he smiles before he says your name can't be faked. That greeting is packed with things he wants to say but doesn't have the courage to. Sometimes it's not even the words he says. It's how much of his heart is being suppressed while trying to seem composed. His greeting becomes a habit that hides a hope that maybe you'll notice, that maybe you'll understand what he can't yet express. There's an ache behind his casual approach, a yearning he's not ready to confront, and it all finds its way into the way he greets you. You'll feel the difference if you're paying attention, because love has a way of sneaking into the most ordinary moments. The greeting becomes his personal confession booth, a place where he can silently say everything his pride or fear won't let him say aloud. And even if he thinks he's hiding it well, the heart has a way of speaking. When the mouth stays quiet, if you listen closely, you'll realize that his hi is never just a hi. It's a message from his soul, gently knocking at your door. When a man is truly crazy about you, the moment he greets you becomes one of emotional precision. He's not just showing up, he's arriving with intention, with presence, with a kind of alertness that only appears when something deeply matters. You may not even realize it at first, but pay close attention. The timing, the tone, and the energy behind his greeting are rarely accidental. He'll often seize the opportunity to greet you first, almost as if it's a race he wants to win. Even if he's surrounded by others, you'll sense that his attention is scanning the room for you, and the instant he sees you, his mood shifts. It could be a sudden burst of enthusiasm, a flash of surprise in his eyes, or that small smirk that says he's been hoping you'd show up. There's an emotional sharpness to how he engages. His greeting may seem casual, but everything about it is deliberate. He makes eye contact. He uses your name more often. He says it like it matters. And that's because to him it does. You're not just another person walking into the room. You're the person he's been waiting for, the one whose presence lifts something inside him. Even if he's trying to stay composed, the way he speaks those first few words to you is loaded with attention. He's fully in that moment, even if it only lasts a few seconds. His world pauses, not because you asked it to, but because that's what you do to him without even trying. This presence becomes even more clear when you realize that he doesn't just throw his greeting out there like background noise. Not vague, not distracted. He's not looking at his phone, not scanning the room, not giving you half-hearted words while his mind is somewhere else. Instead, he's rooted in that moment. He leans in physically or emotionally with subtle cues that show his mind is fully engaged with you. He might say hi like it's the first word of a much longer sentence he's too afraid to say out loud. He might smile like he's remembering something about you, or his tone may carry an enthusiasm that doesn't match anything else around him. That greeting becomes the moment where his inner world shows up on the outside. Sometimes he'll even tailor his greeting just for you. Maybe it's a nickname only he uses, a phrase he says that no one else hears from him, or a playful line that feels like your own private language. These aren't just habits, they're rituals of connection. They're proof that he's not on autopilot when he talks to you. He's present, intentional, and deeply aware of how much your presence affects him. In those few words, he's trying to leave an impression, to make you feel seen, even if the conversation doesn't go beyond that. Because when a man is crazy about you, even the most fleeting interaction is treated like a meaningful opportunity, and his greeting becomes a reflection of the care and intentionality he can't hide. A man who's crazy about you might not say it directly, but he'll try to make you feel it, especially when he greets you. That moment becomes his subtle playground for connection. Whether he's a confident extrovert or a quiet observer, his actions will be laced with a kind of performance meant just for you. This doesn't mean he's pretending or being fake. It means he's trying to show up as his best self when you're near, hoping you'll notice. He might suddenly become funnier, warmer, or more helpful than usual. Maybe his voice lifts slightly when he talks to you, or his words become more thoughtful. His entire greeting carries an undertone of one thing. He wants to be memorable in your eyes. This desire to impress doesn't always show up as flashy or loud. In fact, it's often in the small details that most people miss. You might notice that he becomes more generous in the way he speaks, offering a compliment, recalling something you said weeks ago, or noticing something others wouldn't. These aren't random. These are signs of someone who pays attention because they care. His greeting becomes less about saying hello and more about creating an experience that makes you feel seen, valued, and drawn in. Sometimes it shows up in how he prepares for your arrival. Maybe he adjusts his appearance before approaching, fixes his posture, or double-checks his words before speaking. These aren't done for everyone. They're done for you because you matter more than he's willing to admit. If he's more reserved, this desire to impress may come out in nervous energy. He might fumble his words slightly, laugh a little too loud, or look away quickly after making eye contact. But all of it points to the same thing. You unsettle him in the best possible way. He wants you to see him not just as a man, but as a man worthy of your attention. Even his mistakes, his awkward moments, are signs that he's invested in how you perceive him. When he greets you, it's as if he's saying, I hope this moment means something to you too. And even if he plays it cool, his behavior shifts. He wants to leave a positive mark, to show you through tone, body language, and timing that you're the highlight of his day. There are also times when he'll try to insert just a bit of extra charm into his greeting, whether it's a slight tease, a confident smirk, or a shared inside joke. These moments are carefully chosen. They're not for the group or the crowd, they're for you. It's his way of forming a connection that feels private, intentional, and emotionally charged. Even if the setting is public, the emotional thread he's weaving is personal. In the end, his greeting becomes a stage where he performs not out of vanity, but out of vulnerability. He wants to be noticed, remembered, and maybe even missed, not because he needs validation, but because deep down he's hoping that his presence lingers in your heart long after that greeting has passed.